Hey folks, I got a big announcement to make. We're launching Deckoviz tomorrow and I could not be more excited. The journey started 14 months ago. I'd moved to this new place. It was very bleak. There was no color, there was no artwork, there were no paintings, there was no vividity to it. There was a bleakness to the space. There was a bleakness to even my inner space for that matter. And somehow, in that state of mind, this thought was triggered in me about the changing nature of art. I've been ideating around different ideas, around different problems, and somehow this stuck with me because, again, art is one of the most fundamental parts of the human existence, right? Art is storytelling. Art is about putting yourself in desired emotions, emotional states. It's about it's a filter that allows you to make better sense of the world through your own subjective lens, right? Because you can never see the world as it is as long as you're a human, as long as you have emotions. But art is a medium that allows to make better sense of the world and hopefully get more out of our existence whilst we are here. And so art as a meta theme has probably always been top of my mind because even in the other things that I've worked on, the idea of space setting, the idea of state setting, the idea of putting ourselves in our desired state and making better sense of the world, those have been some of the core threads that have woven through some of the past work that I've done. So it was always kind of running in the background, but somehow living in that space and also sensing a bleakness in my own mind and my own being at that point, it triggered this thought about how we could enhance the art experience. And so that's when it began. That was the seed of the idea. Over the last 12, 14 months, we made a ton of improvements, obviously, in the original vision. And then we got something that I'm so excited to share with the world and to hopefully bring a ton of magic to people's spaces, people's moments, and people's lives, which is their raison d'etre behind this. The problem, as I see it, and I'm going to talk about the nature of the problem in a second, is that we love art, right? You can see it behind me. We love humans have this love affair with art for all the reasons that I mentioned and many more. Yeah, and it's a very core part of the human experience. Sadly, probably shouldn't say sadly, but for many reasons, art has not been a big part of most people's lives, right? Art has been more of an elite affair. It has got this ring of inaccessibility, right? And the reasons for that are a multitude of reasons. The core reasons are that a lot of art is about putting yourself in the state of the person who created that artwork, right? It's to see the world through their lens, or to kind of imbue your layer, your filters on top of that, and try to look at the world through that, right? Or a combination thereof. With a lot of art, especially modern art, like you probably wouldn't be able to place yourself the convergence of that particular emotional state of what they're trying to say and what you might want to express might be very little, right? And then the hyper realistic pieces where, again, for example, you might see a painting which depicts historical moment, right, which has got some historical congruence, but you might not be able to directly relate to that or resonate with that at a deep level for you to have the best art experience, right? Now, and so in essence, art is static, right? And art can be impersonal, it can be boring, and the way people experience art mostly, right? They might go to galleries and stuff, but even there, like, you've got a limited number of pieces. But the way people experience art, the way humans have experienced art for the longest time, has been getting a piece of art, a piece of painting, putting it in our homes. After a few days, the novelty wears off, right? And the emotions that got you to get that piece of art, they also wear off, and you become kind of normalized with stimuli. And so it just becomes a part of your world, boring old stuff, right? Like, there's no, like, I can't see any value in the artwork behind me anymore, right? And you can kind of relate to that feeling where you got this piece of art and it doesn't do anything for you anymore, right? Another framework that I use to think about this problem, and I actually want to talk about the meta nature of this problem. The way the way founders have worked on problems is that they pick problems that are very tangible, right? These are painkillers. But I think the paradigm needs to change, and I personally am going to work on the new paradigm of problems. They are not problems per se, But there are just ways because the whole meta theme of the human civilizational project has been to improve things, improve every single facet of existence. And art, while it might not be a painkiller kind of a problem, it definitely is something that can radically, if you can improve the art experience, you can radically improve someone's life, right? People's lives. And that is the way I think about it. Another framework I use is that you can pick a random artwork, and then you can think of humanity as a spectrum for that particular artwork. There might be a certain number of people who might relate to it, who might resonate with it. There's always going to be a finite number of people, right? A tiny fraction of people who might be able to. Some paintings that might have more universal value, some might have less, but you're always going to have a small number. And that is quite a restrictive way of experiencing art. What if we have art that can appeal to everyone, right? By definition, that would be art that is personalized. So this is the core of the problem. This is the seed of the problem. Now, with generative AI and with powerful recommendation engines and curatorial engines and human modeling engines, so we've done a great enough work on these kinds of problems at LNSC. We'll talk about that in another conversation. So I already kind of immersed and embedded myself in the idea space of the core of this magic, right? The engine of this magic, which is, again, personalized AIs that understand you, your values, your desires, your goals, your beliefs, your lifestyle, your family, your inner dynamics, your inner life, your thoughts, your moods, your everything about you at a deep level, and can create stuff for you, curate stuff for you, or it can kind of be your art companion, or life companion for that matter. And so now, a new modality of art has become possible: personalized, dynamic, immersive, emotionally intelligent, and we are here and committed to bring it to the world, to bring the magic of this kind of a modality to the world. So, we finally come to the question, what is Deckoviz? Deckoviz is our first product, it's our flagship product. It serves three main functions. If I were to reduce it to words, which is difficult to do, it's my baby, and you never want to kind of box yourself, box your baby. But if I were to describe it, it's a smart art frame, AI-powered smart art frame. It serves three core functions. It understands you, AI understands you at a deep level, who you are at a very deep level, all the things I spoke about, your values, goals, desires, beliefs, etc. And it models you at a deep level. It then uses that model to curate artworks for you, curate experiences for you, visual experiences, multi-sensory experiences, multimodal experiences, and it creates these experiences from scratch. Again, we've got these powerful AI systems like Soras of the world, the Runways of the world. We can now take a step further, not just curation, which is still can be limited, it will be substantially limited, right? Because no one has seen the world through your mind, only you have. So now we've got this modality where an AI, because it knows you so well, it can create the kind of artwork that competes against the best painters and even surpasses the best painters in a way, right? And we democratize access to the best art. The best art is personalized art. I personally believe that. I mean, this is going to obviously get a lot of knickers in a bunch, but here, I said it, I'm going to stand by it. The best art is personalized art. It's the art that makes you feel, makes you think, makes you move, makes you make better sense of the world, and just enriches your experience in a nutshell. And also, it's not just about curation, it's not just about creation. The third part is presenting it in the right way at the right moments, right? So, curation is more about, what you would like. Creation is about how you would like it and what you would like. It's a different thing. Curation is about finding it from the existing space of existing works. Creation is about creating new things which don't exist just for you. What would you like? And presenting a display, which is the third core part of the element of the Deckoviz engine, is about presenting it in the right moment, right? Let's say AI recognizes that you're in a certain mood and this piece of work would just go great with this moment. If you want to put yourself in a certain state, it might be tuned into your journal, it might be able to pick up patterns in many different ways through many different inputs that you've got that will be adding to the system over time. So, for example, if it's a special occasion, right, like you and your partner, it's your anniversary, so it kind of could suggest those kinds of artworks, etc. Or if it's the birthday of your child, anything of that sort, right? In a way that really works well for you. So it's not just about presenting it, but presenting. So you can think of presenting it as all of these are kind of intertwined, obviously, but you can think of presenting it as the last part of the curation and creation engine. So that's Deckoviz in a nutshell. It's a personalized, immersive, dynamic, evolving, emotionally intelligent art experience for you in your home, in your spaces. I'll next talk about a few features, a few different ways and use cases that you could get from, like you can expect from Deckoviz. But the things people love to do, I mean, people were raving about this when the 4.0 image model came out, is transforming their family photos, their travel photos, their personal photos into different styles, right? It could be a Ghibli style, it could be a Van Gogh, it could be a Da Vinci, it could be a Monet, it could be anything that you might want, right? Putting that capability to people's hands, it's just something, they just love it. There's something magical about, having the best painters of the world, having the best poets of the world, because painters are poets in a different guise, and using their skills to bring your work to life in a different way, right? People love that kind of a capability. Showing special moments intelligently, we spoke about this in the display algorithm, the display model, where, it shows you certain paintings, artworks, multimodal, multisensory experiences based on mood, weather, time, seasons, festivals, special occasions like birthdays, anniversaries, etc. Then we've got a storytelling feature where you could narrate a story, like a dad narrating a story to the child, and Deckoviz will visualize those images, the visualizations of those of the storytelling aspects of it in real time. It could add narration to it. It could add music to it. Well, narration would obviously be done through the person. Music to mood music. Again, our AI curator finds the best music to go with any artwork. This is where the multimodality of it comes into play. You can set morning rituals, evening rituals, actions, interactive art experiences, where you could say that, a storytelling is an interactive art experience for that matter. With the way the models are improving, you can experience new modalities of art, incorporating not just image generation, but even incorporating video generation, music generation, and again with AI curation models, an AI can find the best piece of music to go with a certain artwork, with a certain piece, with a certain photo, with a certain style, with a certain vibe. New modalities have now become possible with these AI models, and there's kind of an architecture that we've built, this emotionally intelligent architecture, where you could imagine that instead of having one still capturing an entire sentiment, you could have 10 frames capturing it, right? And each of those could have their own unique elements. For example, instead of capturing the Treaty of Versailles in one frame, you could capture it in 10 different frames that, could stand still for 10 seconds each, or you could make that in a dynamic video kind of format. You could add some music to it. Again, that works really well with it. You could create personalized posters, for example, quotes, your favorite quotes, you could visualize them. You could have posters for lots of people love affirmations, love mood boards, love vision boards, love mantras and stuff. You could have personalized posters for these kinds of things. You can have narration infused art, where, for example, if there are passages or poems that you love, quotes that you love, an AI could narrate that in real time. Narrate it in a beautiful way. You could have sequential art, you could have real-time generative art. So many things are possible with Deckoviz now, and we are just about to start exploring the different modalities possible. And one of the things that we're most excited about is putting this in the hands of people and seeing what they do with it. So I want to return back to the start. Why did I work on it, and why does Deckoviz exist? With the current crop of tools and with the current crop of advances, and with the work that I've been doing with personalized recommendation systems and attuned, aware, emotionally intelligent AIs, it was high time for something of this sort to come into the fray and to come to the fore and to kind of add more joy, more love, more wonder, more curiosity, more passion, more connection, more beauty, more magic to people's lives. And that was a high level mission behind it. Everything that we do with Deckoviz, it's going to be under the banner of maximizing the emotional states, maximizing the things that we want to see more of and get more out of life. And considering the importance of the home space, and for that matter, like there are other use cases that can be used in therapy offices, it can be used in yoga studios, it can be used in early learning centers, it can be used in hotels and restaurants and cafes in many different contexts. But our core target market is obviously homeowners. And considering the importance of the home, right, and considering the importance of art, it was a no-brainer. It was either us who was going to do it or someone else would have. And we're so glad to bring this to the world and to for people to start adding more joy, more wonder, more intentionality, more love to their life, more connection to their life. Life, more than anything else, is about state setting. We eat good food to put ourselves in a certain state. We run marathons to put ourselves in a certain state. We climb mountains to put ourselves in a certain state. We meet people, socialize, and play sports for a certain state to put ourselves in a certain state. Life is about putting ourselves in desired states, and everything we do is about that. The meta theme of civilization, of everything we have done in the past millennia, has been about having more fine-tuned control over the states, over our moments, over our space, both inner and outer. And in line with that, a new modality of art has now become possible, with these hyper-personalized AIs that can understand you and model you and your states and your desires and your mood and your mind at a deep level. And they can create and curate personalized experiences to help us maximize that meta goal, to put ourselves in our desired states, be it of calmness, tranquility, beauty, joy, wonder, curiosity, love, passion, or even nostalgia, melancholy, or more. So that is a through line which runs in the design philosophy of Deckoviz, to help us be more intentional, to help us design our lives more intentionally, and to help us get more out of life of what we seek. So, what's next for us? We want to continue working on creating the best platform for personalized AI and deep user modeling to understand their mind at the deepest level possible, and to create and curate the best experiences, and to build an AI that is emotionally intelligent, that is personally aligned, so that you get what your higher self wants, right? Because TikTok, for instance, gives you what you want, but you don't really want that. It's your dopamine seeking self that wants that. If you took a step back, you'd realize that it's not great. Well, if you got any semblance of self-awareness, you'd realize that that's probably not good for you. And so we're going to build these personalized AIs that are not only emotionally intelligent, but they are aligned with you, with your higher desires, to help you get more of life of what you seek. You want to create the best home and space art experience, and we want to continue innovating at the edge of the cutting edge of the sphere of to continue to bring more delight, more magic, more joy, more curiosity, more love, fun, and connection to people's lives and to people's homes. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you very soon, where we'll talk about the deep product philosophy. We'll talk about how you can make the most of Deckoviz. So thanks once again for your time. I'll catch you soon. Bye bye.